92,000 pounds. This is the largest seizure of this kind in the country. Nobody's ever been able to do this.
America, we just witnessed the largest synthetic drug bust in U.S. history, and it's gonna blow your mind how this 26-year-old college graduate built a $4.7 million drug empire using a substance that you can literally buy at your local gas station. Maxwell Horvath wasn't cooking meth in some desert trailer. He was extracting deadly compounds from Kratom, that legal opioid they sell next to energy drinks at truck stops. But here's the kicker. While he was making millions turning legal Kratom into illegal synthetic opioids 13 times stronger than morphine, he was also stockpiling enough weapons and explosives to arm a small militia. We're talking about 92,000 pounds of synthetic drugs, fully automatic weapons, and improvised explosive devices that can level entire city blocks.
A drug bust in Brevard County means 92,000 pounds of an illegal substance are off the streets. Several agencies teamed up here to make the largest seizure in the country.
What is up, guys? TYSON DELACRUZ here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. This story perfectly shows how criminals are exploiting legal loopholes to create deadly drugs while our government sits back and lets gas stations sell opioids to teenagers. Let me break down exactly what Sheriff Wayne Ivey found when they raided Maxwell Horvath's operation in Palm Bay, Florida, because this wasn't just a drug lab. This was a full-scale chemical weapons facility disguised as a legitimate business.
This thing looked like Breaking Bad on steroids is what it looked like. He had it lined up with all sorts of different chambers and rooms and sterile environments that his company would ship it out.
Sheriff Ivey called it Breaking Bad on steroids. When you see the footage, you'll understand why. This wasn't some backyard meth lab. Horvath had created a sophisticated operation with sterile environments, compression machines, and multiple chambers for extracting and processing synthetic compounds.
92,000 pounds of substance used to make a drug known as 7-OH, a drug that's 13 times stronger than morphine.
Think about that for a second, guys. Morphine is already one of the most powerful painkillers in medical use, and this kid was mass producing something 13 times more potent and selling it like it was a vitamin supplement. But here's what really gets me. Horvath thought he was outsmarting the system by running his operation through a company called Overseas Organics and shipping products out of state. He genuinely believed that as long as he didn't sell directly to Florida residents, he wasn't breaking any laws. This is the kind of criminal genius that we're dealing with here. Now, let me explain something that most people don't understand about Kratom, because this is the foundation of Horvath's entire empire, and it's something that you need to know. Kratom is sold legally in gas stations, smoke shops, and online retailers across America. It's marketed as a natural supplement, a herbal remedy, or alternative to coffee. But here's what they don't tell you. Kratom is essentially a legal opioid that affects the same brain receptors as morphine, oxycodone, and heroin. At lower dosage, Kratom acts like a stimulant similar to coffee, but at higher doses, it becomes a full-blown opioid that causes respiratory depression, addiction, overdose deaths, and is completely unregulated. Teenagers can walk into a gas station and buy it without any age verification or medical supervision. What Horvath figured out is how to extract specific alkaloids from Kratom and concentrate them into synthetic compounds that are exponentially more powerful than the original plant. He was taking something that was already addictive and dangerous and turning it into a substance that could kill someone with a single dose. This is exactly why Florida recently passed an emergency law banning 7-OH. But then Horvath had already built a multi-million-dollar empire exploiting this legal loophole, and he's not the only one. There are probably dozens and dozens of similar operations across the country right now extracting deadly components from legal substances and selling them online. Now let's talk about the weapons cache that they found, because this tells you everything you need to know about the kind of money this synthetic drug operation generates and the criminal mindset behind it. Look at these guns: 12 rifles, 17 pistols, 3 shotguns, 1 revolver, 2 fully automatic submachine guns, 3 suppressors, and thousands of rounds of ammunition. This wasn't a gun collection. This was an army designed for warfare.
This guy was either looking to engage war or looking to arm those and furnished to those that are. And you see, even had, as you can see in the video, even had a 50 cal on a tripod, ready to do serious damage.
That's an anti-material weapon designed to destroy vehicles and penetrate armor. Now I've met people like Maxwell, Horvath before, young guys who make stupid money from legal drug dealing operations, then blow it on custom guns, exotic cars, and military grade equipment. They think they're untouchable because they're technically operating with legal gray areas, so they start living like drug cartel leaders. But here's what really concerns me. Horvath graduated from college and immediately started overseas organics in 2019. This means he went from being a regular college student to running a multi-million-dollar synthetic drug operation in just a few years. This is the kind of rapid escalation suggests he had serious connections or backing from organized crime. If the weapons weren't bad enough, they even found explosives. This case went from drug trafficking to potential terrorism.
And provides explosive devices. 5 IEDs were located on this property where the warrant was initiated at. Not to mention grenade simulators and 50 pounds of precursor chemicals to make explosives.
The police chief said these are things that the military are utilizing and other countries are utilizing all over the world to take out populations of people. This is terrorist level weaponry. IEDs are the same devices that kill thousands of American soldiers in Iraq and Afghanistan. And this 26-year-old college graduate had 5 of them. 5 of them sitting in his drug lab in suburban Florida. And here's the most disturbing part. Horvath already served 2 years in federal prison in 2017 for possession of an explosive device and trafficking MDMA. He was just 19 years old when he was first arrested for explosives, which means he's been building bombs since he was a teenager. So this wasn't some college kid who got over his head. This is a career criminal who spent his entire adult life perfecting the art of manufacturing drugs and explosives. And somehow he was able to build a massive operation right under everybody's nose. Let me explain how Horvath's business model worked, because this exposes a massive problem with how we regulate synthetic drugs in America. Horvath was operating under the theory as long as he didn't sell directly to Florida residents, he wasn't violating Florida's emergency ban on 7-OH. So he would take orders from people who came to his facility, but then ship the products to addresses in other states where substances weren't banned. This is the same loophole that synthetic drug manufacturers have been exploiting for decades. They create new chemical compounds faster than legislation can ban them, and then use interstate commerce laws to avoid local restrictions.
Had materials to create large amounts of explosives, along with 36 guns, including 2 submachine guns and thousands of rounds of ammo.
But what made Horvath's operation different was the scale and sophistication. This wasn't some guy mixing chemicals in his garage. He had created a legitimate-looking business with professional equipment, sterilized environments, and industrial scale production capabilities. The fact that he was willing to give undercover agents tours of his facility shows how confident he was in his legal theory. He genuinely believed that he found a way to mass produce synthetic opioids without breaking federal law. The scary part is he might have been right if Florida hadn't passed that emergency ban. There are probably similar operations running right now in states that we haven't caught with the latest synthetic drug trends. The takedown of Horvath's operation required coordination between multiple federal and local agencies. Just shows how serious this case really was.
Our agents worked together, made buys from Horvath. He actually even gave them a tour of his business.
The Brevard County Sheriff's Office worked together with the DEA, ATF, and Palm Bay Police Department for months to build this case.
He's going to have automatically 36 counts possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, 1 count possession of a short-barreled rifle, 2 counts possession of short-barreled machine gun, and then more charges coming for the explosives. So
the sheriff said he's looking to spend the rest of his life in federal prison, and frankly, that is exactly where he belongs. This case represents the largest seizure of synthetic opioids in U.S. history, with an estimated street value of $4.7 million. But the real value is in shutting down an operation that could have killed thousands of people with contaminated or overdosed products. Horvath's operation represents a much larger problem that Americans don't understand yet. The synthetic drug epidemic is being fueled by substances that are technically legal and readily available. Right now, you can walk into almost any gas station in America and buy Kratom, synthetic cannabinoids, and other psychoactive substances that are marketed as legal highs or herbal supplements. These products are completely unregulated, untested, and often more dangerous than traditional illegal drugs. The people selling these substances aren't pharmacists or doctors. They're gas station clerks and smoke shop employees who have no idea what they're selling or what health risks there are. And the people buying them are often teenagers who think legal means safe. What Horvath figured out was how to take these legal substances and extract the most dangerous compounds to create synthetic drugs that are exponentially more powerful and addictive. The fact that he was able to build a $4.7 million empire in just a few years shows how profitable this business model is. And the fact that he was stockpiling weapons and explosives shows how dangerous these operations can become when they start making serious cash. America, the Maxwell Horvath case should be a wake-up call about the synthetic drug epidemic that's happening right now under our noses. This 26-year-old college graduate built a multi-million-dollar drug empire by exploiting legal loopholes and extracting deadly compounds from substances that you can buy at gas stations. The fact that Kratom is still legal and widely available shows how behind our regulatory system is. We're allowing gas stations to sell opioids to teenagers while wondering why we have an addiction crisis in America. Horvath's weapon cache and explosive stockpile shows these aren't just drug dealers. They're potential terrorists who are willing to use violence to protect their operation. When someone has 5 IEDs and a 50 caliber rifle, they're not planning to go quietly if law enforcement comes a-knocking. The good news is that federal agents are finally taking these synthetic drug operations seriously. The coordination between the DEA, ATF, and local law enforcement shows they understand the scope of this particular threat. But in my opinion, we need to do more than just arresting individual operators. We need to close the legal loopholes that allow these substances to be sold in the first place. We need to regulate kratom and other synthetic compounds like the dangerous drugs they actually are. And we need to educate parents about what their kids can legally buy at gas stations, because most people have no idea that their teenagers can walk into a truck stop and buy substances that are more addictive than prescription opioids. Let me know what you think about this. Drop it down in the comments section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.